go.
Sorry, didn't mean to scare you. Good evening. Welcome to the Historic Preservation Commission here in New Smyrna Beach. It's Wednesday, December 10th, 5:30 p.m. Being held in the City Commission Chambers at 214 Sam's Avenue, New Smyrna Beach, Florida. Guess call to order.
I'm going to call the roll, okay?
Okay, call the roll, please. Thank you,
Yep.
Stephanie.
All right. Diane Bean.
Here.
Jenna Coswell. Walter Bone.
Here.
Catherine Kaufman.
Here.
Stephanie Reese. Angela Beretta Herman.
Here.
And Terry Bledsoe. Here. All right, you want to the next item is going to be the approval of the agenda, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Bob?
We have no changes to the agenda.
All right, yes. Next, we move to approval of the minutes from September 17th, 2025.
You guys have any comments or any discussions or anything?
No corrections.
All right,
Move to
Vice Chair,
approve
go
the
ahead.
minutes. Can I move to approve the minutes?
Yes.
Uh,
I second.
Oh, we have,
Just tell me to call roll.
I'm sorry. Oh,
Tell me to call roll.
Call the roll.
Stephanie, please call a roll.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we've got Member Beretta Herman.
Yes.
We've got Member Bledsoe.
Yes.
Member Bean.
Here.
Vice Chair Bone.
Yes.
Member Kaufman.
Yes.
On the motion to approve the September 17th, did I say everybody's name? I think so, yeah. On the motion to approve September 17th, 2025 regular meeting minutes, the vote is 5 in favor, 0 opposed. The motion passes.
Good.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll move into public participation. In accordance with resolution number 11-89, a 3-minute limitation will be imposed unless otherwise granted by the Historic New Smyrna Beach Preservation Commission. This is the opportunity to address any item that's not on tonight's agenda. Anyone?
So just open and close it. Open public participation
Oh.
and close it for the record.
Okay.
Just state it for the record.
All right. For the record,
Yep, you opened it and you closed
I
it.
opened and closed the public participation.
Okay, good.
We move on now to new business, proposed contributing structure preservation CR grant. This is a presentation by the Economic Development and Community Redevelopment Director on a proposed grant program. I want to welcome Samantha Bergeron to the podium for her presentations.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. To meet you all. I wanted to give you just a little bit of information, a quick history of what a CRA is. So CRA is a community redevelopment agency, and it's actually it's a little district that you have your map of you that was established back in 2015. The County of Volusia granted us a delegation of authority in November of 2014 to go ahead and create the CRA. And how it's funded is it's TIF financing, which is tax increment financing. And basically how that works is, let's say, just for example, that that tax base year, which is 2015, is our base year for the taxes. Let's say in the CRA, all of the taxes collected in that area were $1,000. And the following year, the taxes go up a little bit, maybe to $1,005. That additional $5, 95% of it, so $4.50, is shaved off and it's put into a trust fund. And with that trust fund, we are allowed to, per Florida statute, do a bunch of amazing, wonderful things to redevelop the area, capital improvement projects, parks, public facilities, everything that basically is in the plan that we got approved by the county as well as the city commission back in 2015. So in our plan, there is a big couple sections about historic preservation because that has been near and dear to the city of New Smyrna Beach forever, for as long as I can remember. So with that, the delegation of authority that the county gave us bound our hands just a little bit. So with the CRA trust funds, we're allowed to do facade grants, and we're allowed to do capital projects. The capital projects can't be any of our capital project lists for 3 years, and none of the county increment can be used for our facade grants. So we're allowed to shave a little bit off and set it aside for facade grants. Back in 2022, the City Commission and the CRA Board created commercial or not-for-profit historic West Side preservation grants. And we've been working those, and you've seen maybe a few of those came through this board for approval. For example, the Mary Harrell Black Heritage Museum came before this board, as well as the just recently the Magnolia came before this board. So with this program, we also recognize, and also in our plan, we are allowed to also help to stabilize and preserve residential homes that are in our historic district and that are contributing structures. So just recently, I got the blessing from the county to be able to bring this program forward. The City Commission and the CRA Board approved a budget line item that I put into the CRA budget of $200,000, which would allow us to do $50,000 facade grants for exterior improvements to historic homes and contributing structures. And the city already has a really great program for people that maybe need a little more help and they're not reimbursement. CRA grants work a little bit differently. They are 50-50 matching, reimbursement in nature. So in order to get the full $50,000, the homeowner would need to, once they get approved, they would need to spend a minimum of $100,000 on those exterior improvements in order to get the $50,000 reimbursement. So I have before you tonight, I've been working very closely with Robert on a draft program, basically. That's this in your packet. And it's a reimbursement grant program through the CRA. Again, these are 50-50 matching. And it talks about kind of how that would work. It's a first come, first served, first qualified of who comes available. And we would have our PIO help us
Get the word out.
get this out, market it. I've also got in the budget this year, in my economic development budget, to do a mailer to all the properties that are located within the CRA district to let them know about these facade grants that are available. And basically, they're available until the funding runs out, and then we start a new budget October 1st of every year, so they could re-up or wait for that. We meet quarterly, so our next upcoming meeting would be January 27th. The deadlines are usually the first Tuesday of the month to give me time to make sure that all the paperwork is accurate and they have everything, all their I's dotted and T's crossed. So I just wanted to go over this program with you and make sure I have the language right. With regard to the definitions of historic or contributing structures, and make sure that that was appropriate for what we're doing. So basically how it would work is that I would receive a filled out form, just like I do right now with my commercial grants that we do, and they would send it to me. I would make sure that all of the information is accurate. They also have to provide 3 quotes from 3 Florida licensed contractors that would do the work. I have to make sure that the work is appropriate. I have to make sure that they haven't started the work already, because any work that they've already done is then not eligible for the reimbursement. Once they have all of their paperwork together, the next step is that I would communicate with our historic preservation officer for the city, and he would then have that application would come through you, this board, to make sure that the proposed improvements are appropriate, and that they would go for they'll be seeking their certificate of appropriateness for the exterior improvements that they want to make. So once they finish everything, basically, when they finish all the work, they have to provide me with all of their detailed invoices their CO, and proof of payment for all of those detailed invoices. I double check everything. I also then have to perform what we call a clean hands check, because in order to receive CRA grants, you cannot owe the city or the county any money. So all of your permits have to be closed out. You have to make sure. I also have to receive from the contractor or contractors a proof. It's a closeout documentation that they have to sign and notarize. It basically says, yes, we were hired to do this job. Yes, we did it. Yes, we got paid. We're paid in full. There's no liens on the property, and they have to sign that and submit that as well. So it's very regulated. I have to make sure for our auditing purposes that everything is clean and clear, and that they don't owe the city or county any money, and that everything is closed out. Once we receive that, I would make sure that I again communicate with our historic preservation officer, and I believe also our planning manager. They go out and they would inspect the property to make sure that the improvements that were improved with a certificate of appropriateness and the CRA grant are all appropriate and completed as needed and as proposed. And once everything is all signed off, then they would go ahead and get their reimbursement. So the purpose of this program is to encourage private investment in our community and to preserve our historic and our contributing structures. So now this is really nice because we not only have the commercial and not-for-profit program, but we would also have the residential program as well. So that's kind of that in a gist. I just wanted to bring this to you, and if you have time over the next couple weeks and have any comments or suggestions, please let Mr. Mathan know, and he'll be happy to let me know, and I'll make sure that I put those changes into the program. My plan is to bring it to the CRA board on January 27th for their approval, and then after that, it would be open for anyone to apply. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
I have a question with regards to it's residential?
Yes.
Okay. The residential, do they have to be owned by individuals or are they corporate owned as well? Does that matter? The only reason I say that is that we have a plethora of commercial or residential properties being owned by not individuals anymore. And I just wonder, are we helping out corporations redo facades? Just wondering.
Yes, I think we had put in there that it had to be owner occupied, but the property owner has to be the applicant.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, our whole goal is to preserve these properties.
Okay.
So for this program, it doesn't really matter because our purpose is to preserve the property.
Okay.
That's our goal.
Okay.
Any other questions? Yes.
Yes, how are you planning to let people know about the availability of these funds?
So our public information officer, Phil Vesky, does an amazing job of getting the word out. I have about 60 different businesses that I'm working with right now, and I have 12 active grants at this time.
I was thinking more in terms of the residential people.
So I was talking about wanting to do a mailer to everyone in the CRA district that would list to be like a threefold brochure that would say these are the funding opportunities and grants that we have available for commercial, historic preservation for residential, and historic preservation for not-for-profits, as well as...
I'm sorry, if you already said that, I'm sorry I missed
That's
it.
okay. That's all right. I talk really fast. So any other questions?
Yes, it's obviously it is not retroactive, so you can't have done the, okay.
No.
The other thing is you do have landscaping listed,
Yes.
but one of the issues that's come up many times is tree trimming and repair. So I wanted to make sure that when you define landscaping, that you're also including care of these large trees that are on the property.
CRA grants are not meant for maintenance. They're meant to improve the property and get it to a state. So the landscaping is really intended for new landscaping, new irrigation, landscaping lighting is in there, exterior lighting, exterior security features are all listed. And this really follows our commercial grant application and eligible costs because those were blessed by the county.
Yeah, I'm just asking you to
Yep.
really think about that because that is an issue for maintaining our trees and it falls within the city charter.
Yeah,
So-
not in the CRA plan. to do that. So no, if it's not in the CRA plan, we cannot do it.
Can you
Per
put
Florida
it in the
statute.
CRA plan?
No.
All right, well, I just,
We
I'm
were
bringing it up.
lucky,
Said
we
it
were
as a-
lucky to get the CRA approved back in 2014 when we did. I do not want to go back and ask
Okay.
for any changes,
All
yeah.
right, well, it's just an issue, I think, for a
Yeah.
lot of houses. Okay.
Yes.
So again, the current deadline for the upcoming year is, we're in the year that you're starting this again, correct? And the deadline through October?
So the deadlines really are when we have our quarterly meetings, which are on our website. And so the deadlines would be the first Tuesday of the month, because our meetings are always the last Tuesday of the month. They follow the city commission meeting schedule. We just have them a little bit earlier in the day for the CRA board. So it's kind of a rolling, there's not any one deadline. It's kind of a rolling until the funding is exhausted.
But the funding repeats itself after October 1st?
Yes, ma'am.
I think, Samantha, what I want to say, it's absolutely wonderful because we've wanted this for a very long time to actually support historic buildings. We're losing our historic buildings quite quickly, and I'm really pleased to see this. And there are several lists that you can use to get the word out, and I'm encouraging you to use as many as you can. I think that we talked once about there are many homes that have historic plaques already. And so there might be a list. I don't know, Stephanie, did you ever look if you could find that list? Somewhere buried in
The problem is that these are private citizens that are requesting them. So it's not like a Donna D. Miller Award where we have a list. I haven't, there is not a list that's created, so I don't want to create a list that doesn't exist, because these are private citizens that are requesting. And I would have to go back
Well, it
and
might be
create
a lot
something
of
like that, but
I just noticed the one that's on my house has a number on it, so I thought there was.
yes, so there is a number, so there's so many of them, so whatever that number is, that's the number of them, so.
Yeah, I mean, just to give you some numbers of the redevelopment that's going on in our community. Last year in the fiscal year 23-24, we had a total of 40 permits that were redevelopment. So it was an existing property that, not necessarily historic, but that people were redeveloping. 40 permits that valued about $5.7 million. And this year, as of November, we had 73 permits that totaled a value of about $11 million. So redevelopment and repurposing our existing properties is definitely what we're seeing as an upswing.
So what's the definition of historic that you're using?
I went to our website.
I can answer that for you. So
Yep.
it would be the contributing structures that are in our historic district,
Okay.
and that district overlaps this district, but the entire district is not in the CRA district. So some of the properties that are in the National Registered Historic District overlap the CRA. And so the folks that are in both of them that are contributing structures may be eligible for these grants.
But if you're a contributing structure outside the National Historic District, if you wouldn't be eligible?
You would have to be a local landmark, or you'd have to be on a national register by yourself.
Okay. And what are we using as the age of historic building?
We in the city do not have age of structure for considered. If you're deemed as a contributing structure on our National Register Historic District that was approved in 1990, and you're also in the CRA district, you're eligible to apply for the grants.
Correct.
But we use that 50-year.
We do not use the 50-year rule. The state of Florida has a 50-year rule where if you're at least 50 years old or older, you may be able to apply for historical status to the state. For us, our National Register District on the mainland was based on architecture from 1885 to 1940. So that was the period of time that we looked at contributing structures, and that was done back in 1990. But we have not expanded any districts or expanded any contributing structures unless they are local landmarks or they have their own individual National Registered application for their own property.
This is wonderful news. Thank you very much.
So I have a question. The improvements, let's just say they wanted to put in new windows. Would they have to be in keeping with historic preservation, like original restoration of windows, or just new windows?
They have to meet your guidelines for their certificate of appropriateness. Whatever
As
those
far as
guidelines are.
As far as the board?
Correct.
As long as they have received a certificate of appropriateness. If they are not, if they have not come before this board to get a certificate of appropriateness, then they may change their facade how they choose. You understand that?
Well,
I do, and that was a question I was going to ask. Where is it in 50 or elsewhere, maybe in the CRA document itself, where those folks that receive those monies do have to come before us? Because I don't see it in here. So what's the mechanism to have those folks then included in our Chapter 50?
The only way the Historic Preservation Board is triggered is if they have a certificate of appropriateness, or they have been demolished and you have put a criteria that when they rebuild, they will come back before this board. But I don't think they would qualify for a CRA grant at that point in time.
Right. So the way that I've worded this program is that they have to get the certificate of appropriateness from this board before they get the CRA approval.
Okay,
So
that's in
before
there.
it
I'm
would,
just,
if they have come here first before it goes to the CRA board. So you all would bless it first.
and so you have that in your
It's in
CRA
here.
district
It's in here.
in the application?
It's in the application for this specific program.
Shay, is there a reason why we shouldn't somehow incorporate it into 50? Or something else, like,
This is actually a county program that's been approved, so it's outside of Chapter 50.
okay.
Yeah, and it's
I'm
separate.
just trying to make sure there's a
CRA is
nexus.
separate. It's a separate entity than
Okay.
from the city. So
So-
you wouldn't want to,
Right.
yeah.
My understanding is that because we're giving grant money and it's not a, it's a privilege to get it, that we've created this criteria. And one of the criteria is you must come and get a certificate of appropriateness. If you choose not to do that, you can still change it and maybe other grants for the CR may be appropriate.
You wouldn't
but
qualify for
you
a
wanna-
CRA grant.
Because you're
Yeah,
following
okay.
that, that's part of the deal.
You
Okay.
wouldn't qualify. It's on step 2 of the application process on page 3.
But you wouldn't qualify at least for the historic preservation grant
Correct.
with the CRA.
Correct.
So the steps
Okay.
would be to apply for the CRA grant, then come before the board to get approval, and then go back to you with the approval.
Correct.
So it's a program rule.
Correct.
Perfect. Okay, so I
Yes.
just wanted to make sure there was a nexus
So
that people
there
were
is no
following.
other residential CRA grant program at
Okay.
all.
There's a commercial one.
There's a commercial
That's
one.
probably the one I've
Yeah.
been thinking of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
So Samantha, go look at point number 8, which says if the grant awardee sells the property within 5 years, the grant funds will be required to be reimbursed.
Correct.
So I appreciate that one in particular because it does contribute to stability of
Yes.
the buildings.
Yes. And it should be the award date, because that's how the other ones
Okay.
are. So I need to change that. But
And
yeah,
that-
when you're going through it, if you see anything else, please let Robert know, and I'll be happy to make those
Yeah.
adjustments, and it will
Just
be the 27th.
just email me and Stephanie, that way one of us will be here and we can forward that to
Mm-hmm.
Samantha.
Cool. So thank you for your time, and I look forward to coming before you and working on these as we go forward. So thank you.
Thank you,
Good,
Samantha.
thank you.
So Samantha, one more thing. So just want everybody clear. So she has the CRA program that was approved by the county, so she has funding that's being approved by the city commission.
Okay.
But she is going to be utilizing you guys as the review team.
Right.
And then if you approve it, then they'll get a certificate of appropriateness, and that way, when the city commission looks at their application, they can be assured at least there was a body that reviewed the work that was being done, and you felt that it was appropriate for that house.
Perfect.
Yes.
All right,
Great. Thank you.
fantastic. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
I guess moving on, that'll be the 2025 Donna Dean Miller Preservation Award selection. This is a public meeting for the selection of a winner for the 2025 Residential Donna Dean Miller Memorial Preservation Award. That, I guess, you have
I'm
any
going to come
recommendations?
down here. It's a little easier to reach out and facilitate. All righty. So just to let everybody know, the city created the Historic Preservation Award Program back in 2002, and then in 2009, the award was renamed in memory of Donna Dean Miller, who was an active volunteer in memory of the community. Ms. Miller served as the chair of this commission, and she also worked as an amateur archaeologist and participated in numerous other events and activities. While the award recipients are encouraged to apply for a local landmark designation, receiving an award does not place any restrictions on the property. So each application would be evaluated on 3 criteria. Number 1 is historic significance. It depends on how it promotes or reflects the historic nature of New Smyrna Beach, or it reflects the original architecture, has the use of appropriate materials or colors. Or number 2, under community significance, maintains or enhances the aesthetics of the city, thus helping to create civic pride and prosperity and welfare of the city. Or it promotes sustainability and a green design while preserving the historic character of the resource. And number 3 is charm, which is aesthetic value or the use of native landscape material. So for tonight, the commission will be selecting a winner in the residential category. So the planning department did receive 1 application. The address for that application was 622 Faulkner Street. The property is located on the west side of Faulkner Street between Wade Avenue and Roddick Lane. This single-family house was constructed around 1920, and it contains approximately 0.38 plus or minus acres of land. The parcel contains lot 15 and 16 of the John T. Hammond New Smyrna Beach subdivision of 1920. The home is also shown on the 1930 Sanborn maps. So the property and the exterior of the house was evaluated in 1988 by Stephen A. Oslin of the Historic Building Associates Incorporated. This evaluation was requested by the city of New Smyrna Beach to be part of a proposed 1990 National Registered Historic District. Properties north of Roddick Lane were not included in the final application for the proposed district, but the evaluator did state in his findings that the house was a 2-story frame vernacular single-family home. He also noted the architectural features include a low-pitched front-facing gable roof with exposed rafter ends, a south side 1-story flat roof extension with crowning balustrade, a tiered-up hip roof porch, a tapered wood column porch supports on brick piers, and a north side portiche and double-hung sash windows with 1 lights. So the property owner did attach a long history of the property and past ownership. It is a beautifully restored example of an antebellum architectural home that could be found in historic towns in the South, but it would be kind of rare here in New Smyrna Beach. The home remains one of the best examples of the New Smyrna Beach's historic gems in the Riverside Garden District, and hopefully deserving of the Donna Dean Miller Preservation Award. The planning staff would also like to thank the applicant for submitting their application. So at this time, the planning department is requesting a motion from the Historic New Smyrna Beach Preservation Commission to select the structure located at 622 Faulkner Street as the Donna Dean Miller Historic Award winner in the residential category. And also we would like to thank the applicant for submitting, and we're always accepting applications for the next cycle for the Donna Dean Miller Preservation Awards. And with that, the summary of the staff report. Except any questions the commissioners may have.
And beautiful house.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it up on the screen. It's a beautiful home to look at.
It is, inside and out.
Yes.
This home was on the home tour
Yeah.
of the NSV Residents Coalition a few years back.
Yep.
So I know it well, but it has a great history of ownership and pride of ownership over the years. So I certainly would support its nomination.
I'd second.
I did want to add that actually this application was submitted by 2 different, so it was, 2 people thought it was strong enough that we had 2 separate applicants submit the same house.
It is that strong, I would agree, yeah.
So we do have a motion. We have a second.
Yes.
Stephanie, please take roll.
Real quick, before you do that, I need you to open public participation, close public participation, and then let's go on to your motions.
All right. Public participation. is open. And
Seeing none?
see none, it is closed. Now,
Now you can ask for a motion.
all right.
Okay.
Do we have a motion to select 622 Faulkner Street as the 2025 Donna Dean Miller Preservation Award for the residential category?
I motion that we accept this property as the Donna D. Miller Award winner for this year.
2025, yep.
And I second that motion.
All right. Member Beretta Herman?
Yes?
Member Bledsoe?
Yes.
Member Kaufman?
Yes.
Member Bean?
Yes.
Vice Chair Bone?
Yes.
On the motion to approve the residential 622 Faulkner Street, the vote is 5 in favor, 0 opposed, the motion passes.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Can I say something?
Yes.
One of the things that we've been talking about over a period of time and mentioned several times of how we want to bring much more attention to these preservation awards. And so would like to suggest that we work closely with Bob regarding when it is actually on the city commission agenda, and that we work to plan some sort of festival or event around it so that it would make a really an occasion.
I think that would be great.
Yeah, that would be very nice.
Bob, can we do that?
We definitely can notify you when that meeting would happen. So,
Yeah. It sometimes gets lost in those meetings.
sometimes there's a period of time between when they're chosen and when we actually receive the plaque from the foundry, because they're made one at a time. So they make a mold, they make it, break the mold. So it's a one and done. So that's why it has a different year. So they make a new mold for 2025, and then after that, next year, they'll have to make a whole new mold for 2026, so.
Cool.
Oh.
And you guys could come up with ideas of how you wanted to celebrate it. So while they will do it at the commission meeting, you guys could come up with ideas of whether you wanted to invite here for an open house or something like that to, give them the plaque and have your own little thing afterwards. I think that's kind of what you said, Dr. Beretta Herman, is
Right.
some way to celebrate the importance of these awards
Yeah.
besides just a proclamation or handing it out at
Just
commission.
another way of bringing visibility to these beautiful
Right.
homes and support the homeowners, because keeping these old houses going
Is
requires a lot more than you might think.
So if you guys think of ideas the next time we come back of how you'd like to see that displayed, then we can always pass it up the chain.
Okay, thank you.
All right, great, thank you.
The good news is when they're handed out, usually we have a full house here. So,
We always have a full house here.
Guess moving on,
Yep, go on to this regular meeting.
yeah,
number
the
C.
2026 regular meeting minutes schedule. This is a review of the approval of the 2026 NSB Historic Preservation Commission. Our meeting
No,
schedule.
there should be this, schedule.
Yes,
Regular meeting schedule.
Oh,
Regular meeting
meetings, I thought you said meeting minutes, I'm sorry.
I may have by accident, sorry. This is our proposed meeting schedule for 2026.
Yeah,
Bob, yep.
so for the last few years, we've been meeting 4 times a year, and then we had soft meetings that were set for the other 8 months of the year. Before that, this body met 12 times a year. And then we had COVID and some other things happened, so we kind of scaled the meetings back to just the minimum that's required in the state statute. And I have been receiving requests from different commissioners on this commission asking to expand back to more meetings per year. And so instead of going back to what we had before at 12, we said, let's try 6. That way it's every other month. We want to have enough meetings where we have agenda items coming to you. We want to give the opportunity for you guys to make discussion during sunshine, being here in the open forum. And hopefully we'll have some more applications coming from the CRA director that would warrant us to have some more meetings. So we're not holding up projects to get their approval for the funding, especially since they have to get their project approved before they can start doing the work.
That's right.
So,
And so we will at least have 4 meetings if for some reason we needed to cancel one of these because we didn't have a meeting or we don't have a quorum or something like that. But know that at the very least, we will have 4 meetings.
Right. So when we divided up trying to figure out the 6, we always like to have in December. It just seems like great to finish the year, to have a meeting in December. September was always the month that we end up getting kicked because of budget meetings, and we either had to cancel the meeting in September or we had to move it to a wholly different week. So we tried to figure out, let's keep December and let's keep September off. And so it worked out February, April, June, August, October, December. And none of those meetings should have any conflict with the city commission. But like Shay said, if for some reason we had to cancel those meetings, we still can meet our minimum 4. In the bottom, these are soft meetings. So these are dates that we're going to try to schedule the room, at least on the calendar, in case we need to have a special meeting for an application that was time sensitive. That you didn't have to wait 2 months to, come from. If we needed a special meeting, Stephanie would reach out and make sure we would have enough people that could attend it to get a quorum, and then we would have an agenda on one of these soft dates, which is listed at the bottom as tentative meeting dates. So, or they could be alternative. If we had a council one earlier, we could always come up with an alternative month to meet.
I think it looks good. I personally don't have any issues with that.
Yeah, we wanted to print it for you too, so you can put it in your own calendar as well. So,
Thank you.
And, all we need really is a motion and a vote to approve it, and or if there's any discussion, with the commissioners.
Yep. Is there a motion to approve the 2025 HBC meeting schedule?
I approve the new schedule for 2026.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anybody second? Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Perfect. Okay. Call the roll. Call the vote.
All right, Member Kaufman,
Yes.
Member Bean,
Yes.
Member Beretta Herman,
Yes.
Member Bledsoe,
Yes.
and Vice Chair Bone.
Yes.
On the motion to approve the 2026 HPC regular meeting, the vote is 5 in favor, 0 opposed, the motion passes.
All right, well, thank you very much. I guess the final item on the agenda tonight is the selection of the 2026 chairperson and vice chairperson for the HBC for 2026.
So you guys can nominate a chairperson, and then if you guys agree with the nomination, we vote. If there's more than one, then I gotta pass out stuff.
Okay.
So let's do chairperson first.
Okay.
Can you nominate yourself?
You
Yes.
can nominate yourself.
Do we have a motion to nominate anyone for chair?
I have a motion to nominate Walter Bone for chair of HBC for 2026.
I'll second that.
Any other motions? Or nominations? Okay. Looks like we have a motion.
Congratulations. Walter.
Well, we got to
Yay.
vote. Hold on. Let's vote. We have to call roll.
Yeah, let me call roll. Member Kaufman,
Yes.
Member Beretta Herman,
Yes.
Member Bledsoe,
Yes.
Member Bean,
Yes.
and Vice Chair / Chair Walter Bone.
Yes.
Okay.
Trial by
All right,
fire
now let's go
today.
on to the vice chair. Any nominations?
I have a nomination for Terry Bledsoe for vice chair of HBC for 2026.
I would accept the nomination.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other nominations? No? Looks like you may call roll.
Member Kaufman,
Yes.
Member Beretta Herman,
Yes.
Member Bean,
Yes.
Chair Walter Bone,
Yes.
and the vice chair Terry Bledsoe.
Yes.
Ding, ding, ding. You win.
So do we break out the champagne now or later?
Well, when we
You
hand
brought
out
it.
the Donna Dean Miller Award,
Okay,
I'll bring it.
all right. It's getting to look better all the time.
It'll be a big party. Yeah.
As long as you got a charcuterie board from there.
Okay,
We
any
don't-
comments?
They haven't noticed the
Any comments?
plaque yet.
from the board?
I have a couple.
Boundary to Millis
Okay,
flag.
go ahead.
I'd like us to seriously think about following up on Diane Bean's suggestion last year.
Flag's been up.
I don't know how exactly we can do that.
Property owner, make sure they can attend. Yes, ma'am.
I'm
What was
talking
the suggestion?
Which one?
Diane had a suggestion last year, or a couple months ago, about encouraging people to get the plaques that they have in historic home. And we did talk about it a bit, but we never actioned anything. So I'm wondering if Diane would be willing to maybe work with Walter and Terry to come up with a plan of how we might do that. Because I think it'd be a really good idea to,
Yes, I'd be willing to do that.
yeah.
Can we put it on the website? Can Phil do it?
Do we have plaques? Just out of curiosity. So you said you have a plaque
Well,
that
I
says,
just ordered one last month or two.
Yeah, we just got a new company, so that's why I haven't sent anything
Don't worry
yet.
about it.
Literally just got a new company.
Yeah.
So
So
we
do we have
Donna
a
Dee-
budget for that? Do we have, if we
It
had
will-
20 people say they'd like to do it, do we have the money to pay for
So-
20 plaques?
I would suggest, if that's something that you guys want to do, why don't you come up with a proposal, put it in writing for us, because I don't want you guys talking.
Yeah.
And then when we come back to our next meeting, we'll present it, and then we'll go from there. Because we have to provide that to our management.
The question I want to make sure that we're clear on, is it just for the old homes plaque you're talking about, like the one, like for my house?
Yeah,
It's just not Donna Dean Miller, it's just
No.
if you have an old home that qualifies under the years of
Right.
50 years or whatever, that you can buy one, because we don't have to have money, the homeowner pays for it. So we're not
Correct.
out, the city's not out any money.
Oh, okay,
to
so
do
we're
it.
asking the homeowner to pay for
But to
it.
get more people to do it is kind of pride and community. I love that idea.
Yeah.
That's what my wife and I are planning on getting one for our
Yeah.
house is built in 1910, so.
Yeah.
Oh,
So any house that, or commercial building, it's any structure that's at least 50 years old or older, does not have to be in a national district, doesn't have to be a contributing structure. The plaques are available for purchase by private property owners, and they're numbered, and so whatever the next one printed, they put the next number on
Okay.
that. How the program worked in the past, because it was a private property owner purchasing the plaque, we would send the request off to the foundry, but there wasn't really a list, and we didn't want to make people feel that if they spent money that we would put them on a public list for people to come by their homes. They may not want that. So I think we have 51 or 52 plaques, I think, that's been issued. I'm not sure. I know it's over 50 since for a very long time, but now the foundry we used to use is no longer in business, or they got purchased out. So we're not sure what records we can get from them. But we have a new foundry now that's taken it over, so.
And there are opportunities, a project I worked on when I worked up in Jacksonville for the Historic Society, Jacksonville Historic Society up there, particularly the downtown area, downtown core, developing, some apps where people can go and look up different types of businesses or buildings and click on different numbers or letters where it's keyed on a digital map. They can click on it and have a walkable type of, or drivable
Yeah.
app associated with that, with all the information there. So when they go up there, they can have a QR code on the building as well, and maybe public buildings, not necessarily residential, but,
So on the Donna Dean Miller Awards, it's a city page for that. When
Yep.
you submit your application, there's a signature page for the property owner to sign or initial that they understand that they could be used in some type of advertising like that. You've given us the authority to the world to say, we're giving you a plaque, because we're paid for the plaque. But on the plaque that's just for the age of the home, that's a private purchase
Yeah.
that we offer to them. We don't require it, and we don't pay any money towards that. We're just the middle person that collects the money and then sends it off, and then they give it to us, and we give it to the property owner, and it's not usually given. It allows the property owner to stay private if they don't want the public to know that they are on a national or a historical list, unless they want to be.
yeah, unless there's a drive-by or something like that.
So, I mean, if we wanted to try to produce a list, we probably do, but we probably would probably have to notify each one of those property owners that you're going on a public list.
I
Well,
don't
just,
think, I
thinking of
might have
commercial properties.
misheard this, but I don't think that was the intent. I think her intent was to advertise that so more people are aware that they could get this
Yes.
plaque.
Yes,
And
that's-
make them aware of the fact that this is something that we offer in the city, not to, I think, I understand what, the chairperson basically just did, but I think your point for the discussion was to push that out maybe through a PIO or something through the
Yes.
website
Yeah.
to say, hey, this is something that you could get in the city that would enhance your community and your home by putting this beautiful plaque to say it was built in 1941 or 1935, New Smyrna Beach, contributing structure or something like that. Am I understanding that?
Yeah, I think it's anything that we can do to raise visibility of
Yes.
historic homes.
Yes.
And, you know, the next step is maybe they decided, oh, I have this plaque, so maybe I will apply for the Donna D. Miller Award. I mean, that kind of, building that kind of basis. So
that's a good
we have to
idea.
find every kind of, where,
idea.
every possibility that we can explore, and or otherwise we're going to look like every other beach town on the coast. And the only thing that makes New Smyrna Beach different is that it has a unique ambiance that is a reflection of the history of this town. So unless we preserve it, we're going to be another nondescript beach town.
Right. And we don't have a problem with advertising the availability of someone to order.
Shay, I have a question.
You're
I
in
think
the
what you
lesson.
said is to make sure it's like in memo form and submit it. Should I, if I volunteer to do that, do memo, submit it for the next meeting in January for the board to review?
Oh, yeah, so I think what Stephanie was indicating, if you want to like put together maybe a little blurb on it.
Right.
Since you've gone through it, then you could submit it to Stephanie, we could review it, and maybe that's what you want to put out through the PIO on the city's website. Like, we can run that basically up and say, hey, the Historic Preservation Board is looking to push more attention to this availability. Hey, city manager, are you okay with this being put on the city way? Hey, don't forget, you can get yourself a nice plaque to commemorate your historic building. Also, the Donna D. Miller Award, da-da-da. I know we put stuff out about the Donna D. Miller
Yes.
Award, but maybe you want to write something up of what you envision that to look like.
So we'll
would it be
create like a pamphlet or something like that
Okay.
for an
Do you want me-
application.
But for me to create something and get it to you, and then we can come
Yep.
back, or
Yes.
come back here, and everybody can put more stuff in if they want, and then you have something that you can take to the commission or whoever you
No,
have to.
it just goes
City
to-
manager.
Whoever you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whoever.
we'll run
yeah.
it up our side.
So is
Yeah.
it permissible to send a letter out to these homeowners?
Yeah, we could do that. Like, that's something you could consider as one of the things that we would do is consider mailing to homeowners this aspect. But again, we have to look at the budgetary constraints that we might have,
Yeah,
because
that's gonna
mailers are expensive, and what does our budget allow us to do and something like that. But, you know, you can come up with ideas, send them to Stephanie. Stephanie will compile all of them, and then when we come back, we will discuss it in the open.
Well, you know, 1,000 years ago, I guess it was 5 years ago, no, in 2022, we
Yeah.
developed 2 long lists.
She did that.
Remember, Stephanie, you did this?
She did all that. yeah.
You've got all that. I think we have lists of the properties that are in the local historic district on Beachside and certain here on the mainland. So there are ways that we could reach out. I mean, these lists can be updated, so, yeah,
Yes.
there's some resources.
But the list for the plaque that could be printed would be a list longer than the list that you have there. Because it would be a list to every property that's at least 50 years old or older. And I think that's 400 and some addresses we had just with that one.
Yep,
So
400.
it could be 800 or 900 addresses. So we have to make sure that that's something that the management is on board with, because that would be a lot, not only staff time, but
Right, for you,
postage
yeah.
as well.
That's right.
You're probably looking at 600 or 700 letters that could go out at
The
one time.
easiest thing is a post on the city's
Yeah.
I know,
page.
but not that
or
many
city's
people
Facebook
hang
page.
hang on the
Easiest thing, yeah,
website.
and Facebook.
I really don't.
Like a little blurb on Facebook.
Yeah.
I agree, that's it. That's
Yeah.
it.
Well, you all
I mean,
get
we have a
together
budget for advertisement and mailing and all that. We just have to make sure that we have money in the budget for that type of mailing, or we have to put in a transfer of funds. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody opens mail or reads mail. It's gonna have to be Facebook or.
Yeah, through the city's Facebook page,
Totally.
and maybe, you know, come up
A
with an
blurb.
idea of asking if we could blast it more than once a year. Maybe it gets
Exactly.
blasted
Quarterly or.
quarterly, something like that. You know, make it a rotating thing or something. And then also include it on the
That's a good
website.
idea. I love it. And that keeps it going if you can blast it quarterly. That's awesome.
Well, there's also many
maybe we
places
could
you
do-
can reach out to the various social agencies and nonprofits, you know, Kiwanis, Rotary, and all that kind of stuff, just to let them know what's available. And it's just another way of raising the visibility. So there's lots of things we can do, and there's 5 or 6 of us, and you divide it up, and you can take 20 and see where you go with it.
Love it.
And then I just have one more thing. As you know, the last year I've been working on a documentary for documenting the restoration of the Women's Club. And it has been a really interesting project, and it's been wonderful to watch that development of that property into something that I think is a real jewel for our city.
Amen.
The premiere of the documentary is going to be shown on Tuesday, the 16th, between 4 and 6 p.m. It is at the Magnolia, and because it is a sit-down to watch, theater style for the half an hour of I think the documentary is 28 minutes long, and there will be a small 15, 20-minute speech by Scott Seidler prior to that. We have to take reservations so that we don't have too many people. So if any of you would like to come, please let me know, and I will. If you haven't already received an invitation, I think I sent as many out as I could, had emails for, but if you haven't got an invitation or you want to go, please let me know, because then I will make sure there's a seat for you.
Good. Thank you.
Fantastic, thank you.
I have comments, but it is actually on the certified local government report, so do you want me to wait or to say it now?
Well, we can move into the,
Yeah, as long as
I
the
mean-
chair moves into the next section of the agenda.
Okay, I'm just, yeah.
all right. I guess the members of the commission and city staff will now report on activities and events attended and comment on citizen questions and concerns for staff to address. I guess number one, or letter A, 2024-2025, Certified Local Government Report, CLG.
So I'll start with that. So the planning department has filed the yearly certified local government report to the Florida Department of Historical Resources. We filed that report on November the 3rd. It was due November 30th. And right now it's pending the review by the state of Florida. And we should expect a letter that we're in compliance sometime early next year. So, and it is over 1,000 pages.
Yes.
So out of
1,098.
5 meetings, so we did look at a lot of things last year. Maybe it's not as much as some of them would like, but we did have activity last year, because I have it right here. So it's
Well, thank you. Yeah, Stephanie and I both attended the the statewide historic preservation meeting down in Bartow a month and a half ago. And it was very enlightening, great to meet state staff, other local staff from around the state. And it was just I won't say eye-opening, but it was just getting caught up on the newer legislation, new laws, particularly talking with some of the other staff from other municipalities about some issues that they're facing, kind of unique situations in each municipality. It was very interesting, and I have it well documented, and I can share that with everybody, just from the little seminars for over 2 days. And I'll put that together digitally, and I can
Oh, good.
share it with everybody.
Love to see it.
The comments, can I make my comments on the report? The only comments I have is just something that we need to file away for next year's report, since this has already been done and had a date. It makes you feel bad, I guess, in some respects, or at least for me, when on page 5 and number 6, please describe any significant problems encountered in the past year. Lack of participation from the general public, and that is something that we've lamented here many, many times. But I want to make sure for next year, when this is filled out, that the state knows that the city and the voters and the people of New Smyrna Beach participated on Election Day by voting down that charter amendment dealing with trying to get rid of historic preservation in some form. So that, to me, I want to make sure is on that report next year, because to me it shows that we do not have a public that doesn't care they, you know, in fact, I just went ahead and pulled down the stat. They voted no 58.1%, and the vote yes was 41.99. So the majority of the voters in New Smyrna voted against that charter amendment. So I think the public does care about having historic preservation. So I just wanted to make sure that next year we let the state know that our city is dedicated by themselves and by their votes to historic preservation. That's all.
It will be in the next year's report.
Thank you.
This report here sunsets September 30th.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it was before the election, but I just want to make sure that was like a big thing.
Yeah, and we have been in communication with the state. They have been in communication with us. They were watching that closely themselves from Tallahassee. So they were aware.
It was a big deal.
Yeah, they were aware that that was on an agenda for voting.
Okay.
Any other comments or discussion?
One of the things that I don't think we can do anything about, but I just have to bring it to everybody's attention from my point of view, is as I watch the new buildings go up in our city, I am concerned about the scale and mass of many of the new buildings. And I know that you cannot, you have limitations to how much input that a city can have on design of a building. But I think there are ways that very modern buildings can be made to fit in and be compatible with the ambiance of our city. I think there are buildings such as the Hampton Inn, as it was built. It's low rise and it is has front porches, and so it's made to look a little cottagey, and it really does, I think, enhance our city. Some of the new buildings, even the houses, look like they belong out in tract housing, which means they look they're kind of shock in the local residential areas. So I don't know if I don't think there's anything we can do about it. I don't know how we can impress on people to think about the facades of their new buildings to make them look a little bit more like New Smyrna Beach. And I don't know if anybody else shares that observation, but that's my observation at this point.
Yes, I personally agree as well. As a landscape architect, having a character for a city, and you may have different districts or different areas or zones within the city, and the architectural character of the landscape plays a big part of that in creating not only community but a sense of place. And so you might have a very modern, I guess for the late Frank Gehry, very futuristic architectural style mixed in with a colonial or my time in Charleston, South Carolina, the low country cottages and the feel, the signage, the facade requirements, design requirements was just a great feeling driving through there, through different parts of the city, beachside or downtown, the Battery or what have you. I agree that should have some, I would love to see some design guidelines and within designated districts other than the Coronado Historic. But you might have beachside and other locations around within the city of New Smyrna Beach. And also with all the new developments coming on outside of or along 95 with the new huge project out there. Love to see some other design guidelines that would be part of the city.
You mean out of Deering Park?
Yeah, they'd have their own system out there.
Well, Florida Days is, I think, a really good example
Florida
of
Days is good.
a brand new development, relatively new development, but some attention to the Florida vernacular. And I just wish we could, and maybe we need to honor that builder and what he's doing a bit more to bring attention to that there is a way that you can have a very modern house, but one that looks more fitting for the ambiance of the city.
There's a great example, Seabreeze, it's grown so much over the past, 40-plus years. It's grown into different pockets or different nodes and the different architecture associated with that. So, but I just personally agree that there should be a little more possible control over some of the vernacular or some of the architecture styles in different areas.
That's all I have to say.
Any other comments or discussion? Well, I guess
I do want to add, I did notify the state that we would love to be one of their host cities on one of their training sessions. So maybe we could get selected just like the one you went to, and it could be here in New Smyrna. So we're not the only ones that put in for that, but I did put in for that. They have notified them that we're looking to be a host city for one of their training sessions.
Wow.
We just don't know if we'll be picked, but if we don't ask, we're not going to be,
Right.
on a
But you
list.
put
for-
in?
Yes, yes.
Awesome. Do it
Yeah.
at the Brandon Center?
Well, they would have to decide on the dates and everything. We'd have to work from there. So.
Cool. Good,
And-
thank you.
And I've also talked to the Florida American Society of Landscape Architects, Florida ASLA. This past summer, we had our venue was in Ponte Vedra at Sawgrass. And this coming year will be in Orlando, but wanting to have excursions coming to New Smyrna Beach, where they do have excursions going all over the place, of course. And so trying to set up something for an excursion up this way to New Smyrna Beach for maybe Canal Street or Flagler or something, just to bring them into town.
When you're doing that kind of planning, please consider asking for the showing of the documentary, because I think it really does demonstrate what you can do with an old building and how you can have a partnership with private owner and bring a real attention to the history of your town at the same time.
So normally how they operate those is they use a 1 or 2 day session, and they'll have classes, but then they'll have usually at least 2 mobile tours. So usually what they do is for something that's a historic, they'll do a mobile tour to a certain location or have a specific presentation, which would be considered like a mobile tour, outside of just the normal classes that you might have attended when you went.
We did have a 2.5, 3 hour tour, walking tour from the museum.
Yeah.
And so it was real nice. We met with the curators or the operators of that building or the owners. And so it was very nice seeing, with residential home to an old church to other municipal buildings. It was quite nice, and took pictures and a lot of notes and everything, so.
And Bartow's such an old little town, Florida town. It's
Yes.
cool, yeah.
It
Love it there.
was very, very, very nice. All right, anything else for tonight? I guess we are adjourned.
Did it?
Thank
Sorry.
you. Nicely done.
No.
I was prepared